So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Therapy Thursdays. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, so we're going to. Our gracious guest has allowed us to use her channel in which to broadcast because clearly mine's then gave up the ghost and said, we're not doing it this way on tonight. So,
It's funny.
um, I want to tell you a little bit about Therapy Thursdays before we get into it. The whole idea is to talk about mental health, talk to real people that may have been going through some of these diagnoses to help. My whole channel is about giving information and trying to help assist people learning about mental health, diagnosis, how to ask for help, when to get help, kind of demystifying the therapeutic process. And so the idea behind Therapy Thursdays is to talk to people that either have a mental health diagnosis and are willing to chat about it, or just want to be able to have like a mini session with a therapist. So that's kind of the vision for Therapy Thursdays. And once I get my technology together, will be over on my channel, just Danielle, to do that on Thursday evenings. And you'll be able to go on my website and schedule an appointment, all those types of things once it's up and running. But tonight we have Crystal's World on her channel. And we are going to be talking a little bit about mental health, a little bit about depression, and about her journey and how she's come this far. I'm going to say hi to the people in the chat. So I know now Crystal, when you come in her chat, she greets you immediately, right? On my channel, we tend to have our point and then we go to the chat. So I'm going to try to do that because y'all know I will steamroll over all the questions if I don't pay attention to the chat. So, good evening, Miss Trisha's Closet, and good evening, Miss Do It Yourself, okay, who I affectionately call Miss A because I don't know if she want people to know her government, but I'm fitting to always tell somebody. So, Crystal, before we start, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I just want to let everybody know that Danielle has the floor on my channel, so don't feel away. She had technical difficulties on her part, so I wanted her to get the watch hours. That's why it took us so long, because we were trying to get it to work on her channel, y'all. So she has the floor because it's her, it's her thing. So
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Crystal. And thank you
yeah.
again for being so gracious. I believe
Mhm.
that all things work out the way that they should,
Yeah.
as a person of faith, and you know that about me. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be all right. We're gonna do it because when I purpose in my heart to do a thing, it's fitting to happen. So this is the way it's got to happen. This is the way it's got to happen. Miss Adrian said I could say her name, by the way. Hey, Miss Adrian. All right. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is, what does mental health mean to you? And not like in a textbook sense, because I know everybody can give a textbook answer, but
Yeah.
in your lived experience, like in your
Mm.
personal experience, what does mental health look like to you?
Whoa, a lot of things. Whoa, a lot of things,
Okay.
baby. Um, Mental health. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still working through it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was told by my doctor that I was suffering from it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from what all the things she was seeing from me at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess it means, whew, being in a position that I felt like I was outside of my body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like to me. I was not myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was just a lot of things, Danielle. It's a
It's
lot.
hard to define.
Yeah, it's really hard to define.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think people really understand it until they experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it could have been times before I was experiencing it, but not in the way that I experienced it the last time.
Yeah.
So it was a situation before where I might have been going through it, but I kept going.
Right.
And this last time with me getting deep down depression, I couldn't come out of it.
Right.
So
Do
it's
you
just it's
do you feel like if you look back over your life, there were moments where you wrestled with, um and I'll let you name your own diagnosis, but when you wrestled with not being 100% mentally whole or healed, but it wasn't until all of the things culminated together that you felt not well. Does that make
absolutely.
sense? Okay.
It does. I've been through, of course, in life we go through ups and downs. We go through things
Mhm.
that we probably were depressed from, right?
Mhm.
But we kept going. But I had a situation happen to me in 2020,
Mhm.
2021, I'm sorry, where I was I've talked about this before on my, on my channel, like you said,
Mhm.
and I had to sit still. I was in a position of having to sit still. I couldn't
Mhm.
go to work. I couldn't go home. I was stuck in the hospital for a month and a half, right?
Right.
And I feel like everything from my life, traumas, death, like any type of deaths, relationships, when you sitting and can't go nowhere, what you gonna be doing? Thinking.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And I feel like everything just came crashing down on me when I was stuck in that place. And
Right.
that's why that happened to me in that way this time. Not that
Mhm.
I haven't been depressed before. It's just that I was able to come out of it quick. This
Okay.
time I was not able to come out of it quick. It was different. It was way, way different than I ever experienced before. Like,
Yeah.
um,
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think we forget that a lot of the diagnosis that people experience, they may have been going through series of events. And it wasn't until it was something so large or those things kind of layered that now it's like, okay, now I can identify. Now it is interrupting my daily functioning because there is a such thing as a functional somebody who's functional and depressed, functional and anxious, functional and having bipolar disorder. That's a real thing, and it's not the same as being in recovery. But it's like I
mhm,
can manage the symptomology, I can manage the symptoms, and not um it might affect me, but it does not cripple my life, right?
mhm, mhm,
I'm able to manage those symptoms over time. Do you feel like earlier on in your process, you felt pressure to be just okay, like not being able to tap into those moments where you could have felt depressed or this big word for no reason, dysthymic, which is like a low level depression, right?
mhm.
And because you were trying to be okay, you didn't address it.
Absolutely. When you got
Mm.
kids, when you got bills, you have to live your life, and it's been really bad things have happened before, like I said before, and I had to keep going.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Mhm.
again, with this last time, I couldn't. It was a situation where I couldn't get up and go, like I said, go to work. I couldn't get up and go do this. I couldn't get up and go do that. I was stuck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had to sit in my stuff for a
Yeah.
very, very long time.
Mm.
So like I said, all that stuff that I kept going from, kept going in the past, all that stuff came crashing down on me.
Right.
And
So the busyness helped. The busyness of life
absolutely,
helps. The
that's the
functional thing. Mhm.
that's how we cope, because we keep going. That's our coping
Mm.
mechanism. We keep working. We keep doing this. We keep doing that. Some people drink. Some people smoke. Some people have sex is a
Mhm.
coping
Mhm.
mechanism too.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
people know that.
Yeah, and I would tell
um.
people all the time, it's a difference between a coping mechanism and what's called a maladaptive behavior. And so
Mhm.
maladaptive behaviors are things that are temporary fixes. All the ones you just named, okay? I'm not going to
Yep.
deal with this. I'm going to get high. I'm not going to deal
Baby.
with this. I'm going to be in serial relationships. I'm not going to deal with this. I am going to drink and party until I got to get up for work
Yep.
because it becomes the reason why it's not coping and maladaptive is because eventually it's going to hurt you, right? Eventually you're going to get the negative impacts of that. Because how long can we do? I mean, you've seen folk that been doing that for years and they
Yes,
look
ma'am.
like they've been doing that for years. You're
Yes,
like, whoa,
ma'am.
you 26, you look 49. Like,
Yep.
because it's not good for your body. It's not good for your physical body. It's not good for your emotional health. But you make an excellent point in saying that this is what we do to survive.
Yep.
This is what we do
Yep.
to survive.
Prime
Mhm.
example. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to get too emotional on here. When my mom passed, Danielle, I drank every day for a whole year.
Wow.
That was my coping mechanism. Isolated
Mhm.
myself.
Mm.
All
Mhm.
I did was go to work and come home. Thank God I was in that moment strong enough
Mhm.
to realize what I was doing.
Right. Mhm.
And I also don't get me. I had people
Mhm.
talking to me,
Mhm. Mhm.
seeing what was going on.
Mhm.
So thankful for those people. Cause like, you know what I'm saying? What if I was so weak where I didn't give a doggone what nobody was saying, or I wasn't realizing what I was doing? Like,
You can
I could
cuss,
be
Crystal. This your channel.
no,
You
no.
can cuss.
I could be one of those people that we were just talking
Mhm.
about, like still
Mhm.
right now, be an
Yeah.
alcoholic because of my mom's passing. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful to God for that, because I was drinking every day.
Yeah, no, and I think again that concept of just moving forward, we're taught that
Mhm.
societally, and culturally, and I'm not even just going to say as melanated folks. I'm gonna say as Americans, like we are very grind from, you know, you started from the bottom. That is a, for lack of a better term, that's an American concept. Hustle concept.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you sharing that, and I appreciate even the grasping of the definition of mental health is one that we're not often asked that question, right? If somebody says, "Well, how do you know if you're physically healthy?" You can
Mhm.
identify that because you are able to oh, I'm healthy, but I might be a little bit, my knees hurt, right? Or you can identify the thing that's hurting. With mental health, sometimes it's a little bit more, it's not as tangible, right? It's a little bit more metaphoric. And apologies again
Mhm.
for the big words. This is how I talk,
No,
right? It's
no,
just it's an
do,
imagination.
do your thing. This, 'cause it was supposed to happen on your channel. Do your thing, girl. It's
Right, right,
okay.
right, right. Okay. So let me just say hi to everybody in the chat because I know that it's going, and I'm ignoring all the people. I apologize. Hey, hi, Fishy. I usually see you on Crystal's channel, but I think I'm actually subscribed to you too. Romania, James, Ramon, how you did? What it do, sir? I just want to say hi, Jerry. Jubba, like Jubba the Hut, like is that how you say that, Crystal? Because I know this is one of your
That's how
people.
I said.
Cowboy. Decapitator of the Trolls. That sounds like a t-shirt or a book brand. I love it.
he his name is really Chris, but he has two channels.
That's the one, that's somebody's husband, right? Is that somebody's husband? I thought so. Look, she
Yeah,
got
Harlow.
okay.
You know
Okay,
Harlow?
yeah, I thought so. I said I know that name from somewhere. All
Yeah.
right, hey coach. Thank you. I know coach got she might got class in like
Yeah.
moments. So think of us, coach, when you doing the planks, okay? Because he's like, oh, well, thank you for answering that question. And if anybody in the chat has something they want to share in terms of like defining their mental health, please do put it in the chat. Okay. The second question I want to ask you a little bit, and I know you've talked about this a lot in on your channel, on your platform, right? About how YouTube has been integral and has been a really a pinnacle part of your healing journey and your process, right? It's been therapeutic. It's not therapy necessarily, but it's been very therapeutic for you.
Mhm.
How did that start? Like, did you intend for it to be that, or did that just kind of unfold?
When I was in that sunken place,
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital for a month and a half, I watched YouTube more than I watched TV. Right?
Okay.
I was already a supporter of YouTubers, but when I was in that place where I couldn't go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
I was like on it all the time.
Right. Okay.
And it was therapeutic for me. I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
came across so many people on there that I adapted with in the situation that I was in at the time, and things like that. And in that moment, of course, when I sit back and think, like, I could have really documented that moment, but I was
Yeah.
I was depressed.
Right.
But when I sit back and think, like, I could have really been documenting what I was going through, and that would have been probably good to put on my platform now. But that's neither here nor there.
Mhm.
But I did think in my head in that moment, can I do this?
Mm.
I
Mhm.
I really was thinking that in that moment, but I didn't even have the mental capacity to be recording,
Yeah.
none of that, document none of that. But it did come in my mind in that moment, like, can I do this? But of course it
Yeah.
didn't happen until a couple years later. But in 2023 is when I actually created my channel, but I didn't start posting
Mhm.
until later.
Mhm.
I didn't start posting until later.
So did you like when you started posting, did you intend for it to be a kind of like what was your goal with it? Was it to be healing or did that come as like a side or secondary benefit?
I think it came kind of as a secondary benefit, but in my mind at the time, I didn't realize what YouTube was, right?
Mhm,
I
mhm.
didn't realize I would be at the place I'm at now. When I first
Okay.
started YouTube, in my mind, I wanted to be like therapy for me, or to vent, to get my stuff out to the world on how I was feeling.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe a couple months in is when I started realizing, hmm, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, okay, this can be probably be something.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I
No,
didn't
I
realize
appreciate
that.
that.
I didn't realize that at first. I did not realize that at first. People probably think I'm crazy. I really did not understand what could come of this that I wanted to
Mhm.
be posting. Because you got to think, when YouTube first started, people was not getting paid to post their content. They didn't start getting
Right.
paid till later. So in
Mhm.
my mind, that's what I was doing, just posting content at first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have my I wasn't one of the ones that came on here and said, "Oh, I didn't come on here thinking I'm gonna be monetized in 3 months," and I wasn't one of those people.
Right. That
It
wasn't
may
your
sound
goal.
crazy. I was not one of those people. It didn't come till months later when
Yeah.
I started realizing and connecting with people, and I'm being educated from other people,
Mhm.
seeing what's really good, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I think that people come to YouTube for different reasons
Mhm.
and with different motivations. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because, and this is going to lead me to my second question. I did see somebody said they want to share something in the chat. Please put it in the chat. And welcome, Janae Desiree. I don't want to miss anybody. The second question, kind of to build off of that, I know for me and you, right? YouTube can be somewhat of a gift and a curse. It can be a two-edged sword because it can really help you, right, to document your journey, like you said, share, um, impact people, impart to people. And then we need our friend decapitator of the trolls, because then you have the other side of it. You have the comparison, you have the competitiveness, you have the trolling, you have the undue maligning of one's character, right? And how do you balance that, being as though you are someone who has had this journey with your mental health? How do you balance, or what do you do to protect your psyche and your whole your mind while you are navigating the YouTube streets, as Ramon would say?
Well, first I pray.
A-
And second,
Amen.
I advance. You can listen. You can talk to Coach and Janae. Like, those are
Mm-hmm.
two of the people that I do talk to behind the scenes when
Okay.
I'm feeling away,
Mm-hmm.
um or some. Yeah, it's been a struggle, Danielle.
Yeah.
I may seem comfortable now on camera, but it's been a struggle. Okay, I
Well.
wanted to quit. I wanted to quit at one time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
No, yeah, listen, I get it, and that's why I wanted to ask that question, because you
Hmm.
are not the only one. Not only is there pressure, right? Their whole monetization journey, the
Hmm.
pressure you might feel, the comparison, and then you have other people that, especially if your content might not be in their wheelhouse, right? They don't understand. There are some people who are very technical, right? Like I'm technical. We out here, we giving information, right?
Yeah.
And there are other
Yeah.
people who are doing vlogs, and they're like, "Well, what you're doing might not fit into the box that I have created for what is good content on YouTube."
Hmm.
It's a lot. You had a young lady this morning talking about they was lying and doing DMs and trying to destroy her business. And I'm like,
Wow.
this is a lot. So to protect your mental health, you have learned to kind of build a community outside of YouTube that understands the struggle, if I hear you correctly.
Yeah. And thank God for Janae and Coach.
Mhm.
Because when the times I be feeling away, they let me get out what I'm trying. They let me get it out.
Yeah,
Because it
no, that's a
it
good
just be a
thing.
moment. It be a moment. And I had to bring myself back together.
Yeah, because we have to remember that a lot of things that start out as a lifeline can become risky if we're not using them in the proper way. Same thing that we said earlier. It's nothing wrong with having a drink from time to time, but if you're
Mhm.
drinking when you get up and in the afternoon and when you go to bed, like if you're using that to sustain your life, that's
Mhm.
problematic, right? If there's a
Yeah.
time, and hey, it might not be a bad thing to, use some recreational pharmaceuticals, but if you're
Well,
never not high, It's your platform. I know where I'm at, okay? So, but if I can't function without it, that may be something to consider, okay? Bye, coach,
Yeah.
have a good class. Um, okay, hey, Trish, let me just make sure ain't nobody ask no questions. And again, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, issues, tissues, please put them in the chat. The next question I have, is one of the things that you said when I called it live one time is this concept of like when I'm not feeling well, I just withdraw. I just kind of move to the background. I tend to isolate. Do you tell like do you prepare people? Do you tell people how you're feeling before you do that? You just kind of disappear.
Mhm.
Does that work for you?
In a sense,
Mhm.
it might not be good. I realize that now. But
I didn't say that. See, you said that on your own. I didn't say that. See, I'm good at my
it,
job.
it might not be good, but yes, because this is what I feel like. Okay, so how can I say this? Um,
That's a good point. Why are you thinking that's a good point, fishy things, because he said when an aid turns into a crutch. That is a very good way of thinking about it. But go
mhm.
ahead, Crystal, you were saying.
um, yeah, in a sense, I just shut out. But see, I have to understand too now that I'm in a place where I am meeting new people. Um, and people tend to be worried about you when you
Mm,
sway away and they don't see you for a while.
yeah,
Maybe I do need to be more open about that. And to the people that I care for. Janae has gotten on me about that. She has. You know
right.
Miss Janae, honey. Um, she's the type, she's not gonna let you like, and I love that about her, but I'll be telling her like it's I be wanting her to know it's not you. It's
Right,
me. It's never nothing against nobody else
right.
when I shut out, when I shut down.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
definitely understand it. And that's why I always ask people, does that work for you? Because sometimes it does work. It is, I need a certain amount of time for myself to process. Like some people are internal processors and they need that time. It is balancing the time that I need for healing and processing versus me doing what I used to do before and
mhm.
shutting everybody out and not being well, right? Because we essentially have to help people or teach people how to treat us. But the only way to do that is to be vulnerable enough to say this is what I need. And
Yeah,
so I kind of ask like, do you tell people how you're feeling? Like, hey, today is not a good day. I'm going to be off. I'm going to be off grid for a couple hours. Check on me at 6 o'clock. You see what I'm saying? Like, is there a way
yeah,
to balance it so that it doesn't revert back to what we talked about first? Like, I'm functional, but I'm not telling nobody how I feel, so they don't even know how to
yeah,
support me.
yeah. But sometimes when like I said, Coach and Janae allows me sometimes, but I don't always go to them because they got their own life.
Yeah.
It's a thing where it's every blue moon. It might maybe two occasions where I had to like get some stuff out.
Yeah.
I can only talk to people who's doing YouTube because we're the only ones who understand the YouTube
Yeah.
stuff that be going. I
Yeah.
can't talk to my people in real life because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the YouTube stuff
Right.
that be going on. So
Right.
that's why I feel comfortable talking to them about the YouTube stuff. But it be
Yeah.
other stuff going on in my real life that nobody knows about. I do shut out because of stuff going on in my real life.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, and
That's
I'm
valid.
definitely not going to put those burdens on nobody. When I talk to Janae and Coach, it's about YouTube. It's not about my real life stuff like
So here's the
that.
thing, and I respect everybody's process. Fishy asked me,
Hmm.
was I a clinical psychologist? I am a licensed clinical social worker, so a little bit different. But what I will say is that people have their process, and I'm never going to be like, no, you shouldn't do. That's never a role. Listen, the therapist that says you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z, or you can't do X, Y, and Z, I challenge that assertion. People are what they call self-determining. At the end of the day, you are going to do what's best for you. That is why I always ask, is this working? There is a middle space, right? That you are very wise. You don't have to share everything with everybody, but you shouldn't have to keep everything in either. So I know that you have your own therapeutic process. And so I would encourage you to when you have those moments, either journal, so that you can take it to your sessions or whatever and be like, this is how I was feeling, or text record it for yourself, or sometimes because you got to get it out, Crystal. You got to get
Yeah.
it out.
No, actually, that you wasn't. I started back talking to
I
a
know
therapist
you said
yesterday.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So I realized
Yeah.
that, and I
Yeah.
went. And I'm like, let me just get back in therapy because I've been in therapy before, and I
Mm.
stopped going. I should have probably kept going and never stopped up till now.
No, it's a
But
real thing. Here's the thing about therapeutic process. Sometimes one of my clients was so mad one day because we had been in therapy for a minute, and he said to me, he was like, I've done all this work. I feel like my therapeutic process has been like going up a flight of stairs. But today
Mm,
I'm frustrated because I got to a landing and discovered it was three more flights. And I think that sometimes we look at the therapeutic journey like I'm going to like a quick fix. I'm going to go, I'm going to get some therapy and I'm going to feel better and then I'm going to be done. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes we don't know that we need more help until we're triggered again,
true.
right?
True.
Sometimes they're like, "I'm good. I know this happened to me a couple days ago." I said, "Oh snap! I thought I was over something," and somebody said something. I was like, "Gotta work on that." It was like, "Gotta work on it." Me, who knows up here all the tools and the tricks, but sometimes this don't match this, and so we have to kind of challenge our preconceptions and our notions.
Yeah.
Fishy said, "Nah, just bury it all deep down inside and don't ever think about it. That's how I deal with trauma." We gonna pray about that, Fishy. We gonna pray about
Yeah.
here's what I'll say to that, right? When you push it down, look at the smiley face. He said, "Yeah, it works." A lot of these things work until they don't, right? I think of if suppressed emotions and trauma, like you probably would never do this, Crystal, but there's some of us. I'm not a clean like a organized person. I put stuff in piles. It is like taking clothes like dirty clothes and just putting a sheet on top of it, piling them up and putting a sheet on top of it.
Mhm.
You might not see the clothes underneath, but eventually, you're going to see the result of the clothes. You're going to either have the Mickeys or the Brown Brothers or the smell, or it's not functional long term. It works so you not to see it and not pay attention,
Mm.
but that thing gonna come back up,
Mm. I'm a living witness.
right?
Fishy, I'm a living witness. Like, but I think men, you think men are can deal with I don't know, say deal
hmm
with men. I think some men can hold are okay with holding stuff in.
I think society does not allow them to not be strong. I think
I
that
think they should do. I think they need to be vulnerable. More
I'm
men need
married.
to be more vulnerable.
I'm married to a clinician, so and even he struggles sometimes with some of the like masculine versions of the therapeutic process because it's like you speaking to men, but they don't want to open up because it's a vulnerability that's seen as weakness. And so sometimes I think men are very compartmentalized. They can put things in a kind of like Fishy was describing. I just stay in the present. I think about today, and that's it.
Mhm.
I'm not going to keep going back to the past. I'm not going to keep dwelling on the things that have happened to me. And I think that works to a certain degree until you're triggered. If you're never triggered, then that works because that means you
Yeah.
put it in a box, you don't have to access it.
Yeah.
But sometimes what happens when you do that, because you're so compartmentalized, you don't have access to any of those feelings. You don't have the full range of your emotions. Because if I do, then I keep going back. I go back to that past place. So it
Mhm.
really depends. And again, does it work? If it's working, not a problem. It don't, but like you said earlier, it works until it doesn't. So
I'm a living witness. I can
let me see
attest to
what
that.
if I
It
let it
works.
all out, will it ever will it you know what, Lazarus? That is a question that I have heard often. If I start crying, right? If I start talking, if I start to process these things, will I be able to put myself back together? And sometimes the answer is you might have to become a different version, but that doesn't mean it's a bad version, right? It doesn't mean that if I start processing my because it's a legitimate question. If I start processing my trauma, What does my life look like? It can look different. It can
It
look
can.
different because people are scared that
Mhm.
it's gonna be worse. But what if it's just different? And what if the different is better? So it's the risk that you take. I don't like carrying around this stuff. I would rather put it down. But it's just like
I believe in it.
carrying a heavy book bag. You don't realize how heavy
Mhm.
that thing is until you put it down.
Facts.
Where did fishy stay? And I'm gonna ask you one more question. Another question. Give me 1 second. And
Okay.
every time men let themselves be vulnerable, society punish them for it. People always say men can be sensitive, but society's actions do not match those words. You're not wrong. And that's why I
Sad.
think that there needs to be very safe spaces for men. That's why my husband, I try to get him to advocate more for men's mental health because I think it does look different. I think it sounds different, but it's just as valid, right?
Yep.
Vulnerability with men might not be I'm crying on the sofa. It might just be like, bro, that hurt me. And that's the
And
extent
that's
of their
it. Yeah.
expression, but it's still valid for you to have said that,
Mhm.
articulated that, opened up
Yep.
with that is still valid. And so
Yep.
my prayer is that there are safe spaces for men where they can be their version of vulnerable, if that makes sense,
But
without feeling like society is going to judge them. Go ahead.
I feel like it also takes for that. I don't like to do. I don't want to do the man versus women thing, but I think it takes for that person, man, to be open to be vulnerable. Like take the extra steps in
Mhm.
seeing a therapist. A lot of people don't believe in therapy. I asked that question on my live the other day. A lot of people really
Mhm.
don't believe in therapy,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's okay. It's
Mhm.
nothing. That's okay. They have to be open to receiving the
Mhm.
help.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I think that people like yourself, people that have gone through the process, like I said, men who have had therapy, if they were a
Hmm.
little bit more open about it, I think, and I'm not putting it all on them because that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. No, no, no.
as they
Yeah.
start to speak about it, it validates the experience, for lack of a
Hmm.
term. Because like you
Hmm.
said, we have a lot of misconceptions about who looks like, they look like they need therapy. What does that even mean? Like, people that have therapy look just like me and you, right?
Yep.
I see the people, okay? I see the people. So just validating that. Okay,
Hmm.
next question. Because I hadn't skipped around.
Okay.
What is one thing that when you were at the height of your depressive symptoms, what is one thing that you wish people knew? Because you already articulated you didn't really tell anybody. What do you wish they knew?
I just wish they understood. But then again, I don't because I don't ever want nobody to be in the place that
Go
I was
through it.
in.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, because even if they wasn't saying it to me, I know I was being judged.
Mm.
I feel like
Mhm.
I might have been being maybe it was just all in my head. But
Mhm.
it's just that they didn't understand because they never had been deep down in it like that. Like you
Mhm.
said, like I said, like all my life. This happened when I was 40.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
all my life, this is not something I've been dealing with all my life. I think people might look at me or somebody like in me and how I'm vocal about being depressed and up and down. They
Mhm.
might look at me and be like, "Oh, she just need to get over it." That's what I wanted to ask you at the end. What do you feel about
Mhm.
people who say, "Oh, she just need to get over it"? But we'll
Well,
go
I'll
back to that.
address it. Mhm.
We'll go back to that. But this is not this is I haven't been like this my whole life. I've always been able to pick back up after a tragedy or a trauma or whatever
Mhm.
breakup. I've always been able to pick back up and keep going. It's
Mm.
just this situation, it did not allow me, like my brain would not allow me to. And most people, not most, a lot of people just don't understand it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thankfully, one of my close friends has been working in the mental health, industry for a very long time.
Mhm.
So I did have someone that I was able to talk to when I was going through it deep
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
Thankfully, I did to help me understand.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so I had someone on the side that was able to talk to me and like she talked to her patients.
Mhm.
I was like one of her patients, she
Mhm.
would talk to me and I was just open to it for her to help me understand what I was going through. Because who wants to be depressed like that? Nobody don't want to be depressed like that.
Yeah.
I think people look at look at me or and people that be in my position and think we want to be. No, nobody wants to be like that. Nobody wants to be down like that.
Mhm.
I've
No.
always been the type to keep going, go getter. I've always been that person. And then, these past 3 years, it just my life has just been different.
Mhm. Thank you, Trish. Um, no, I appreciate you
Hold
sharing
on.
that, and I
Let
think
me read because I can't see the I gotta reconnect.
okay. Oh, it kicks you out. You can. It's fine. It was just
No,
somebody
what
being disruptive. So she talked about. So I said, thank you, Trish. Um,
what happens is I can't even see the messages now.
yeah. Listen, I know that's right, Lazarus. So you can't see the chat.
I can't see the chat, girl.
See, they
Let me
said
leave it
you.
alone. Let me leave it alone. It took us a long time to get here. You can just read the chat. It's your
Yeah,
floor
no, no,
anyway.
no. It wasn't. I wanted to thank you for the answer because I think sometimes we don't. We I don't sometimes I don't even know what I need. Like sometimes people will ask, like, how can I support you? And I'll be like, I don't know. Just sit with me. Like I don't even know how to articulate how
Mhm,
the help that I need. But I'm glad you had someone that you could
mhm,
say, hey, I'm going through X, Y, and Z thing.
mhm.
Um, looking back, as you're in your healing journey now, what message would you give to yourself in that space?
Whoa, in that space, I wasn't even
Mhm.
in my right mind, Danielle. To be honest, I don't
Right.
know what I was trying to come out. I was trying to talk my way out of it, but when
Mm,
it's you can't.
yeah.
You just can't in those moments. You just can't. In those moments, you just can't. Again, I didn't
Yeah.
understand. I didn't understand what was going on. Like I didn't. I'm understanding a
Mhm.
lot more now. And I did have my friend who's
Mhm.
like I said, who's been in the industry for years, worked in the industry for
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't, Danielle. When I tell you, it's just a different situation that
Yeah.
I just know a person will not understand unless I don't wish it on nobody. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't wish it on nobody. I don't. In those moments, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking all types of stuff. Probably. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, I get
It was
it.
just. It
I
was
I
deep.
get
It
it.
was deep.
I think, one thing that I'll say is when I look back to because I have had and I don't know if I shared this on, you would know this about me. I've been diagnosed with dysthymia. I had severe eating disorders when I was younger, just a myriad of psychological things that
Hmm.
happened. And I think if I had to tell myself now on this side, right? On this
Hmm.
side and a healthier version, I'm not gonna say I don't have my days, right? Is
Hmm.
that there's nothing wrong with you. Like you're not broken. You need some help. You need some assistance. But I would remind myself because I'm the same person, right? I'm the
Right.
same person essentially. I just needed some tools and some resources to be able to be healthy, to be whole. And I
Hmm.
think I would be like, it's not always going to feel like this, right? Yeah, every
Right.
day is not that. I think that's the message. It's not always going to be like this. Because in
Gotcha.
those moments, you feel so hopeless. You feel like it's always
Yep.
gonna be like this, like it's no
Yep.
light at the end of the tunnel, and I
Yep.
think that that's what if I could send myself a message to my 22-year-old self, like, it's not always gonna be every day is not gonna be like this. This too shall pass, but yeah. So now I'm gonna give you the flip version of that question. If
Okay.
you look into the future 5 years, right? If you were able to give yourself a message from today that you will receive 5 years from now, what would you want that version of yourself to know about you now?
So 5 years from now,
Mhm.
and coming back to today.
Right. Like if you could write a message to your future self, almost like you know how back in the day they used to do those time capsules and
Hmm.
then put look, y'all, my nose start itching. All my the people that follow me know my nose start itching when I'm on live. But if you could write a note for your future self for them to read it, what would you tell her? What would you want her to know?
Whoa. Girl, you did it. You came out of that thing and you soared. You
Amen.
was a fighter. No, don't get me
Mm,
crying, Danielle, goddamn it, because I'm really seeing the light. I'm starting to see the light finally. I cannot
mhm.
wait until to get back to my old self. Like I lost myself in depression. I was not myself. When I was deep down, I lost myself literally. Like
Mhm.
I want to get back to my old self, in a new way.
Mhm.
It'll be a new me, but still, you know,
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
the
I
go
think
get, it's just
listen,
yeah.
don't
Girl,
listen,
you did
cry.
it.
Hey, cry,
Nope.
cry if you need to cry. And the reason why I say that is tears are cathartic, right? And not
Yeah.
to use that to catharsis means to get something out. They help to cleanse,
Yeah.
help to renew, they help to pour out. And so many of us have been taught that tears don't matter. Like get
Hmm.
up from there. Don't cry. Don't, I
Yeah.
ain't going to do nothing. No, tears allow you to kind of express the fullness of your emotion. And so I think I appreciate your answer because it's so hopeful, right?
Hmm.
It's like, no, yes, I know I'm going to do all right. I'm going to be
Yes,
able to look
ma'am.
back and smile and be like, ooh, that might have been the latter end of the tunnel, but I'm in the sunlight
Hmm.
now. Like, I'm in
Yep.
the shining now.
Yep.
That ability to move forward, look forward is just it's amazing. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm going to
Yep.
ask you maybe 2 more questions, and then I'll let
Okay.
you ask your questions for me because I know,
Okay.
I ain't doing your 4-hour lives like y'all be doing. Let me look at Fishy. Fishy said, "That's difference pressure to your capillaries and means you have a lot." Oh, that's what it is. Fishy done taught me something. He said, "I got a lot of, mirror neurons." That Imma look Fishy, come on, you teaching me something,
50 is
sir.
smart, honey.
Yes,
50 is smart. I'm sorry,
yes.
y'all. I can't see the chat right now, and I'm
I'm
not touching
sorry.
nothing
I'm
because
cheating. See, it's my channel now.
yeah,
YouTube
I
done
don't.
said you didn't say she can anyway. All right, so I want to make sure it's no questions. Lazarus said if I didn't have a psychiatrist as a sister, I would probably be answering. Listen, psychiatrist, psychologist, and I'm going to be 100% honest. We don't always take our own advice, so we be trying to get it together too. Um,
Yeah, you're human.
so now I have two last questions. Number
Okay.
one, do I'm not going to ask you that one. No, I'm not going to ask you that one. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you, what would you say to someone who is afraid to start therapy?
Oh, whoa. I don't know. Who is afraid to? Not saying they won't.
Yeah, they're interested. They're like, I listened to you, Crystal. I heard the hope in your voice, but I'm just fearful. I don't know what this is going to be like. What would you say to them?
I would tell them it's nothing to be scared. It's nothing to be fearful about. The
Mhm.
therapist is there for you so you can vent to them.
Mhm.
Um, that's basically what I would tell them. Like I said, not if they're opposing it, because I'm not going to try. Like, I don't think I can convince anybody to do something they don't want to do, especially a grown adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
But I would just explain to them my experience with therapy to try to
Mhm.
make them feel more comfortable with going to therapy
Mhm.
because it's
Yeah.
not bad. It's nothing. It's not bad. It's
Mhm.
not bad at all. I would just let them know it's not bad at all. Let them know my experience in it and tell them it's nothing to be scared. It's nothing to be scared. Or I would say, try it one time. You don't have to continue going. Try it one time and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Try
No.
one session to see how you feel. And if you don't feel comfortable and don't go back, okay. Give it one try. Give it one try.
Listen, that is an excellent that's an excellent pitch
Mhm.
because a lot of times
Yep.
we'll try everything else. We'll
Yep.
try all the other things,
Yep.
okay? And sometimes I think it is this perception that people have, like, oh,
Yep.
they're going to. The other thing, that whole judgment piece, they think that they're going to be judged. No, I think if they don't pay me enough to judge people, eh, what does that do? I have been doing this for dang, well over 15 years now, right?
Oh,
I haven't heard anything that surprised me for real, since probably maybe 2010. Like, it really legitimately surprised me, but I didn't heard it
really?
all.
I'm sure. I'm
And
sure.
it's not a judgment thing. That's not my role. My role is always so as a therapist, my main role, and this is how I run my practice, is to hold up the mirror. So the stuff that you said you wanted, I'm asking you, do you still want that? And if so, let's talk about how to get you there. What do
Mhm.
you want? Right? And let's talk about how to get you there.
Mhm.
If you say, "Hey, I have clients like, okay, I don't have a problem with for example, we talk about getting high. I don't I don't have a problem getting high, right? I want to get high. I just don't want to I want to cut down. Let's work on that. There is no
Got
role for me to judge. This is what you
right.
said you wanted, okay? It's called
Mhm.
harm reduction. That's what you want. Let's work towards it. Now,
Yeah.
I might not want you to do it at all, but guess whose life this is?
Yeah.
Amen. All right,
Mhm.
sorry, because look, I'm churchy all the time.
It's okay, girl. Do your
I'm churchy
thing.
all the time. Okay, just
Do your
one.
thing.
I know that's right. It says, how many therapists does it take to screw in a light bulb? Just one, but the light bulb has to be ready and willing to do the work. That's a good one. Amen. And you are too smart, sir. It's all right. Um, so my last question for you
Mhm.
is, hmm, let me think. I gotta make sure it's a good one.
Okay.
So we talked a lot about you getting support and you having people help you.
Mhm.
So in this moment, what does support look like you for hard days? How can people help support you that love you and care about you?
Just listen if I need to talk, if I
That's
need to vent. That's it.
that's it.
Just
Amen.
listen. You don't even have to give me no advice. You know, at this point, because I'm getting better, thankfully. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. I'm not in the place that I was. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you that one
Um.
more. Wait. Before you finish that sentence, what role does your faith play in your recovery and your healing
Oh
process?
wow. I had just said earlier, and I was honest to my chat. I do need to lean into God way more than I do. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. I would
Mhm.
never get on here and pretend and lie. Do
Mhm.
I pray? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But I do need to lean into Him a bit more.
Mhm.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
No, that's a
I'm
good,
honest.
honest answer. That's a good, honest
Mhm.
answer. And I think people need freedom to know that their
Mhm.
faith, and this is
Mhm.
one thing that I battle with all the time, your faith and your therapeutic intervention can work together, right?
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with, because people will be like, if you pray more, you wouldn't feel like that. And I'd be like, where's the scripture that says that?
Right.
Where
Right.
does,
Right.
where does it, physician heal thyself? Because where is the scripture that says that? I believe that you can use both. It's both and it's not either or. And that's why I respect all people's faith process, right? It doesn't have to look like mine to be valid. It just, but you do need to believe in something. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
even if that's, I believe in this fishing rod, like whatever it is, you got to believe
Right.
in something.
Right.
So anyway, that was an extra question because you said thank you Jesus. I said come on now, come through. I won't press you, but if you open the door,
Yep.
I'm gonna walk through it.
Yep.
So
I
yeah, no,
glad you
lean into that.
did.
Lean into that. All right, Miss Crystal. Well, I thank you so much for allowing me to use your platform to have therapy Thursday. I'm gonna get my technologies together. If
Yes.
anybody is interested in coming on, joining us for maybe next Thursday or the following Thursday or a Thursday, I would certainly be open to that. And again, if it could be a thing, I would love to help and walk through this process with people. Um, and you can get my information is on my channel. So my email is on my channel, my website is on my channel. So you can get in contact with me that way. I'm just reading the chat.
Okay.
The step system for added does not work without a faith element. You right, fishy. That 12 steps is based on. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna you watch Bill W and it'll tell you all about it. But anyway, Miss Crystal, now I'm handing you. Here's your baby. Back to you. If you have any questions for me, I'm now in your hot seat.
Actually, no. I just appreciate you for being open to doing this. This is I'll for those in the chat, I cannot see who's in the chat. And for
Okay.
those that are watching in the background, do you see what just happened here? Wasn't hard. So if you're open, please reach out to Danielle. This is her new, she's doing something new for her channel, y'all. Let's support Danielle. And if you're open to having a sit down with her on Therapy Thursdays, please reach out to her email.
Yeah.
This was not hard at all. I didn't even cry, y'all. I came close, and y'all know I'm a cry. She didn't. I came close now, but I didn't even cry tonight, y'all. So if you're open to it, reach out to Danielle. I was upset because we could not do this on her platform because I wanted her to get the watch hours, but we did it here. But Danielle, just
Yeah.
thank you for being you, Danielle. We all love you. We
Yeah.
always
So, oh,
love your feedback on everything. We be like, even when you're not, where's Danielle at? We need
what are
Danielle.
you about to say? Which is interesting because I'm like, Lord, at least the people want to hear what I got to
Where's
say.
Danielle at?
So,
We need
so
Danielle right now in this chat when you're not there. So my
they be
thing is,
fussing.
we support you. I hope the support can be a little bit further. I hope y'all can reach out to her. If y'all are
Yeah.
open to sitting down with her like I just did. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about this out loud, and I get it. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people hold it in, and I get it. But holding it in is not good, y'all. It's not.
Listen,
It's
listen,
not good.
I appreciate all the kind words. I appreciate the feedback. And I am a firm
Mhm.
believer as like I said earlier, things happen
Mhm.
as they should. And I'm okay with being a small channel right now. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I believe that everybody has their time. And I hope that if I'm given some encouragement, some information that'll help. If I get, because I said, I have quite a bit of the subscribers, and I couldn't have fit them in my house. So I'm like, well, that's that's a lot of people.
That's
So
true.
so just being grateful for each person who hits the subscribe button and not only subscribes but watches the content, right?
Mhm.
And my YouTube name is at just Danielle 365. The channel name is just Danielle. So I think you can probably share it on your community
Yeah,
tab so that
I'ma share
they'll be
the
able to
Imma
get it.
share it. Imma share it to your channel, and it's also in my title. I put your name in my title, so they should be able to just click on it and go to
Okay.
you. So yeah, if y'all are not subscribed to Just Danielle, what you waiting on? She
Yep,
will be
you
live
got it,
tonight.
fishy. Yeah,
She will be live tonight.
so
Go
that's
ahead.
another thing. I have been doing a series at the ABCs of mental health. I will be going live at 9:30 to be ABCDEFGHIJ. Think we're on I think we're on J. Lord. We on one of them letters on tonight. And I'll be doing that for the rest of the month of May. So
Perfect.
okay. Well, thank you again so much. I appreciate you, Crystal. I am going to contact you because I do have something I would like to send you so that way you can have it as a gift from me to you. And I appreciate you not only being willing. Oh, my books, is that somebody said that you like my books? This is one of 11 bookcases in my house, so actually this is two of 11. um so yeah, but I appreciate you being willing and helping to promote my little corner of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
YouTube streets, the block.
If you listen, that's what I always. If you go down my post, that's what
I
I
know
do.
you do.
I feel like I still want to support the same way I'm doing my own thing, and I know sometimes I can't do that. I gotta focus on me. But when I have a free day or something, I just love supporting people. I can't help who I am. I just love supporting people. That's
Yeah.
just who I am. I can't help it.
It's a gift. You do know that, right?
I
Some
can't help.
people
Yes,
are
I can't help it.
there's a theory, like even when you talked about, Jesus, there's people that are Pauls that are like really out front and they like, it's the ones that people gravitate to. And then there are people
Mhm,
like Barnabas who have the ability to connect others. And even though they
mhm.
get the spotlight sometimes, they're
Yeah,
connectors. Like you will never know that somebody else got their start with Crystal's world
yeah.
because
True.
she's constantly connecting people. So I appreciate you for that. And I pray God
Welcome.
continue to bless you and that you never pour from an
Yeah.
empty cup, that you
You
will
too.
overflow with
You
abundance.
too.
I
Even though
receive
you're
that.
strong, you too.
Hey, listen. Hey, I receive it. All right. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to end the live or you end the live because it's
I have
yours.
to end it. It's my
Okay.
life. I have to end it.
All right. Because it's like I said, I didn't give you back your baby. But again, thank you so much. And I pray that you have a blessed evening. If you are
You too.
around at 9:30, I'll see you.
Oh yeah, girl, I've been coming on there. I think I missed a few nights. Now I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be there every night, but I got you tonight. I will be there.
All right. I'll see you later, Crystal. Thank you
All
again.
right, later, y'all.
Bye.